Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's session, we will look at 15 advanced AWS interview questions that will help you in your next DevOps interview or AWS interview. Now, whether you're preparing for an interview or you're just looking to enhance your AWS skills, then these questions will help you with right that. So by the end of this video, you should be more confident with some of the advanced questions that you can expect as part of your interview. So let's get started with this. The first question I have is, how does AWS Auto Scaling handle unpredictable traffic and then sudden changes in the demand? So auto scaling can be used when you want to automate the scaling up and scaling down of your instances. So the whole purpose of this service is to automatically adjust your EC2 instances based on the demand. So for this, we make use of your scaling policies, CloudWatch metrics, and then some predefined thresholds. And based on these different components, your auto scaling will determine when to scale in and scale out your instances. So one option we have is using dynamic scaling. So under this, the auto scaling will help you to adjust the capacity based on the real time demand. Like if the CPU is high, then launch more instances, or if the CPU is low, then reduce the number of instances. Then you also have predictive scaling, where auto scaling makes use of machine learning to predict the pattern, the traffic pattern, and then scale your resources accordingly in advance. And all of these can be useful for handling sudden traffic spikes. Like you're not you don't want to kind of keep on monitoring when to increase and decrease. You can make use of your auto scaling, which will take care of scaling up and scaling down. So this will ensure that your application is highly available and also cost efficient, because you're launching the instances only when you need them. The next question we have is, what is AWS Global Accelerator and how does it improve the performance? So Global Accelerator can be used when you want to utilize the AWS network for your traffic routing. So this helps you to improve the availability and also the performance of your applications with local or global users. So under this, we will be utilizing the AWS global network, and this will help you to optimize the route to the nearest healthy endpoint based on the user's location. So this will help you to improve your performance. So under when you're using the global accelerator, you won't be using the public internet. Rather, you will be using the AWS network to route the traffic. You get a high availability, so automatically reroute your traffic to healthy endpoints in case there are some failures in any regions. So this can be ideal for any critical applications, like you have a gaming application or you have a video conferencing application that requires very low latency and high availability. You can make use of your global accelerator for that. The next question we have is, explain AWS Lambda Edge and what is the primary use cases. So Lambda Edge, it allows you to run your Lambda functions using your AWS global CDN. All right, so this helps you to run your Lambda functions closer to your users. Now this will help you to reduce the latency by running the code closer to your users, basically where the requests are made. So this can be used for real-time content customization, so dynamically generating content based on user location or requested data. Then you can also make use of this for security and authorization checks. So perform any request validations before passing traffic to an origin. So you can use this in A/B testing, so distribute different versions of content to users without checking the backend infrastructure. So that's where we can make use of your Lambda Edge. The next question we have is, how does Amazon Aurora differ from standard MySQL or PostgreSQL databases on AWS? So Amazon Aurora is AWS managed RDS service that you have. So it is compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL database, and this provides you with significant performance and availability improvement. So when compared to MySQL and PostgreSQL, Aurora gives you better performance and better availability. So the performance, in terms of performance, it gives you 5 times better performance compared to MySQL, and 3 times better performance compared to PostgreSQL. And in terms of availability, it automatically spans across multiple availability zones, and it also has self-healing feature and automated backups. Then it also provides you scaling, so you can automatically scale your storage up to 128 terabytes without any downtime. And this can be ideal for applications which requires high availability, low latency reads, and database replication. So basically it gives you much better performance, and also cost wise, it's AWS says that it's much lesser compared to MySQL and PostgreSQL database. The next question we have is, what are placement groups in AWS and what are their different types? So placement groups can be used when you want to control the placement of your EC2 instances. So within the AWS infrastructure, if you want to optimize the performance or the resilience, you can make use of your control groups. So this will help you to control where your instances will be placed. So under this, you have cluster placement group. So under this, you'll be placing the instances together in a single availability zone, and this offers you with low latency and high throughput network performance. Then you have the spread placement group. Under this, the instances are placed on distinct hardware, and this helps you to reduce the simultaneous failure of the hardwares. And then finally you have the partition placement group. So under this, you'll be creating partitions, and each of these partition will have its own set of racks. So it will have its own network, power source, and everything, and this will again help you to minimize the hardware failures. So cluster groups are ideal for high performing computation, while spread and partition groups are used for fault tolerance. The next question we have is, how does Amazon S3 event notifications work and what are the possible targets? So S3 event notifications can be used whenever you want to take some action based on an event. Like when you're creating an object, you're deleting an object, and you want to trigger some actions, you can make use of your S3 event notifications. So we can trigger Lambda functions, which will help you to run some code, like you want to resize an image or convert the format of the data. We can trigger Lambda functions. We can also send the messages to SQS queue. So send the event messages to the queue for further processing. We can also simply send out a notification by making use of your SNS to the subscribers. So these are ideal for automating your workflows based on certain events, like new uploads or new deletions, like your backup or logging systems. You can make use of your notification event notifications. The next question we have is, what is Amazon ECS cluster autoscaling and how does it work with Fargate and EC2? So ECS autoscaler or CAS, this is again an autoscaling feature which will help you to adjust the size of your cluster. So whether you're using EC2 or Fargate. So if you're using EC2, then you're scaling up your instances. And if you're using Fargate, then you're basically increasing the capacity to meet the demands of your application. So for EC2, your CAS increases or decreases the number of instances, same as your auto scaling groups. And in case of Fargate, you will be launching the tasks as needed. And under Fargate, since it's serverless, we won't be using any EC2 instances. So it's ideal for highly dynamic containerized applications with very unpredictable traffic and that need automated cost-effective scaling. We can make use of your CAS for that. The next question we have is, describe AWS Control Tower and its use in managing multiple AWS account environments. So Control Tower is a service in AWS, and this helps you to set up your accounts and govern multiple AWS environments with the AWS best practices. So under this, you have guardrails, which are pre-configured governance rules, and we can use this to manage the compliance and security of your accounts. Then you have account vending, so which helps you to automate your account creation process with predefined configuration, so automatically creating AWS accounts. And then you also get a centralized logging. So it's a central hub where you can have your CloudTrail logs, config rules for scaling, security, and auditing. So these are ideal for large organizations that are using multiple AWS accounts and they want to have like a central place to manage these multiple accounts. You can make use of your control tower for that. The next question we have is, how does AWS Transit Gateway simplify VPC to VPC communication in complex AWS architectures? So Transit Gateway can be used when you want to set up network connectivity between multiple VPCs and also your on-premises networks, and all of this to be done through a single gateway. So this helps you to simplify the management of VPC peering. So consolidate and route traffic between VPCs and networks. So VPC peering can be complex. So that's where we can make use of your transit gateway. Then scalability, so helps you to scale automatically to handle the number of connections and data throughput. And then cost efficient, so it also reduces the number of peering connections that you need to create, VPNs that are required. So everything will be managed from one single place. So again, this is ideal when you have large number of VPCs that needs to be communicated. You need to have a centralized routing and want to have a simplified network management. We can make use of your transit gateway for that. The next question we have is, explain how Amazon Cognito can be used for user authentication in serverless applications. So Amazon Cognito, it provides us with identity and access management for web applications, mobile applications, and this service, it mainly allows for user authentication and authorization. So under this, we can make use of user pools, which allows us to manage the user registration and authentication directly from the Cognito service. We can make use of your identity pools, which provides us with temporary AWS credentials for the authenticated users, and this allows access to other AWS services. And then you can also make use of your social identity providers, like you want to integrate with third-party identity providers like Google or Facebook or Amazon. We can make use of your Cognito for that. So this is ideal for serverless applications that needs scaling. You need to have a secure user authentication without the need of managing a custom identity service. We can make use of your Cognito for that. The next question we have is, what are AWS savings plans and how do they differ from reserved instances? So reserved plans helps you to save some cost in exchange for a commitment. So it provides us with a flexible pricing model, and it can help us to save some cost provided we are giving a commitment to use a specific amount, that is to spend a specific amount or to use certain compute for a contract period. So the contract period can be for 1 year or 3 year. So it gives you a flexibility. So savings plan applies to various services. So you can use it with EC2 instances, Fargate, Lambda, but your reserved instances are tied to EC2 instances only. And it gives you savings similar to reserved instances, but with broader scope. So saving plans are more flexible in usage type and region. So this is ideal where companies are looking for saving their cost on long term across different services. That's where we can make use of your savings plans. The next question we have is, how does Amazon CloudFront signed URLs work to control access to content? So signed URLs can be used when you want to basically give access to certain content, but then it is available for certain duration. So we can use this to control who can access the content, and you can set an expiration date and specific access permissions, like the data will be available for 24 hours and after that it will be expired. Then we can make use of your signed URLs for that. So signed URLs, we basically generate a secret key, and this will provide the temporary access to your private files. You'll be setting an expiration, which is like, having additional security. So after that expiration date or time, the data will not be available. So this is ideal when you want to protect your video or you want to allow document downloads only for your paid customers. Then you can make use of your signed URLs. The next question we have is, what are the differences between instance store and EBS volumes in AWS? So instance store can be used as your temporary storage where the data is lost if you stop or terminate the instance. So your data is not persistent. If you want to make your data persistent, we make use of your EBS volumes, which is your elastic block store. So under this, you get a persistent block storage, which does not depend on the state of your instance. So even if you stop the instance or terminate the instance, your data would still be available. And you can also detach and reattach the volumes to other instances. All right. So we can make use of your instance store volumes for temporary storage needs and EBS volumes for durable and persistent storage needs. The next question we have is explain how AWS Direct Connect enhances network performance and security for enterprises. Direct Connect is a dedicated network connection between your AWS environment and your on-premises data center. And here you will be bypassing the public network. All right. So this gives you a low latency. So it will help you to reduce the latency when compared to the public internet connections. You get an improved security. So because you're not making use of the public network, your data travels over the private connection, making your connection secure, and it is also cost effective. So reduces the outbound data transfer costs for high volume traffic. So this is ideal for enterprises that need secure high bandwidth connectivity between the on-premises data center and AWS environment. The next question we have is what is AWS Step Functions and how does it improve workflow orchestration in serverless applications? So step functions can be used when you want to define a workflow. All right. So when you want to implement a serverless orchestration service where you want to coordinate with multiple AWS services and define a workflow, you make use of your step functions. So under this, you'll be defining creating state machines, which are nothing but your workflows. And here you'll be defining the tasks. So what do you want to do? Your decision points and your branching logic. So all those, the workflow basically goes in your state machines. You can also do error handling. So you can set up automatic retries. Error handling mechanisms can be built into your workflow, and you can easily integrate step functions with lots of other AWS services. So you can integrate it with Lambda, ECS, SQS, any service you want. So this is ideal when you want to create a workflow, a very complex workflow such as your ETL jobs or any order processing or any serverless microservices. We can make use of your step functions for that. And that brings us to the end of our 15 advanced AWS interview questions. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more content, and tap the notification bell to stay updated on all the other content that I upload. Drop your comments or feedback in the comment section below and let me know what other topics you would like me to cover next. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.